Hello.
Hello.
How you doing today, Donald?
I'm good. Just in crunch time for my stuff for next week. Uh,
I can feel that. We just
yeah,
got done with our crunch time over the weekend. Now I am completely free for the rest of the year.
wish I could say that. I'm always got something going on.
It'll be good. Okay. Figure out what's going on with my camera.
Read some updates from SmackDown since I missed it last night or Friday night.
I didn't even get a chance to watch any of the clips from Friday night, but I did hear about all the new matches that have been signed for Crown Point.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the recap now. Um,
Well,
looks like
the big surprise is Roman Reigns and LA Knight.
yeah, I saw that one coming. After last week's deal. Um, I don't think it's. I don't think. I don't think LA Knight's going to get it. I
No,
think they're going to keep it under Reigns till at least WrestleMania. Uh, Probably where he'll wind up losing it, or something big will happen on the 40th. You know,
oh yeah, there's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. That's the biggest moment. Um, the
uh,
50th is going to be the biggest moment, but there's no way they're going to keep the title on him that long.
I hope I hope they do the Usos against one another at WrestleMania, and they hold that match till then, not throw it out there right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a WrestleMania match. But who knows? That's
I mean,
what they want.
but I feel they started it a little too early, but because now you got to run it through November, January, February.
About 5 months.
Yeah, it's a long time to run a.
It is, but it helps to have them on separate brands.
Yeah, they could do some kind of tag match against one another. Um, I can see that possibility at Crown Jewel. It's Crown Jewel, isn't it? What it's called? Crown
Crown
something.
Crown Jewel.
Um, but yeah, I can see. They can do all kind of things between now and then to keep it interesting, and then have them match up at WrestleMania. Unless they do it and they have some kind of other stipulation at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Hi,
No
bud.
or
Welcome.
Hell in a Cell or something.
I still think that they're going to have the Usos on opposite ends of the War Games at Survivor Series because the way that SmackDown closed a couple weeks ago when it was um, Judgment Day and the Bloodline against Jay, Cena, LA Knight, Cody, and that's where I was predicting that there was six on the Judgment Day and Bloodline side, and the whole riff with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. I think Damian's going to turn face and join the other side, and that'd be a 5-on-5 for Survivor Series.
I'd like to see a full Survivor Series type card again.
I would too, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening. At least not right yet. Not while they have War Games coming on.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing a War Games now. I know that was back in WCW,
Hmm.
uh, and on the new uh, I'll say new, the newest wrestling WWE 2K23. Get it out in a minute. There's a match option on there for that. So, and it was interesting.
That'd be cool.
2 rings, a big cage around it with cells on the outside. Just
The only thing I wish they had done was keep it true to the original, where you had the top in there as well. Because last year they didn't do that. Now,
Yeah.
granted, they had some good spots from that, but to me, that kind of takes away from um, the concept of war games.
right. Even on the game, you can climb out. That's the whole premise of winning the match. You got to either climb out yourself or force your opponent to climb out.
I don't think they do that in real life, do they?
I don't know.
I don't remember that being an option for last year.
But yeah, I think I do remember the War Games match because it was take it back. It was Usos and the Bloodline.
Yeah,
Bloodline was in there with Zayn and all them, and yeah,
they
I do
against
remember that.
the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah, they were
Drew
trying to get
and Kevin.
Zayn to prove his loyalty
Mhm.
and all. That's right.
And even back then, they were talking about Sammy and Roman at Elimination Chamber. Wait, Elimination Chamber? Yeah. For February, and I'm thinking, okay, that's 3 months out. That's awfully quick for them to do, for him to fully accept him, and then 3 months later, now they're one on one. That they kind of moved that thing a little fast. They could have drawn that out a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um, and the timing was really bad for Sammy because at the Rumble, Cody Rhodes came back, and everybody knew he was going to win the Rumble. But if they had done things a little bit differently, really, it was Sammy's time. Um, and that's where I feel okay. We're starting to see the same thing of what they did with Daniel Bryan. The fans wanted Daniel Bryan, but management wasn't giving that to them.
right.
And they booed the hell out of the Rumble when Rey Mysterio came out at number 30 and Daniel didn't. And they had no choice but to put him in the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I don't think I watched it a whole lot when Daniel Bryan was really big. I think it was a point in time when I kind of stepped away from it for a little while.
That was shortly after I came back to watching wrestling, and Daniel Bryan was the hottest thing I had ever seen. Uh, the fans hijacked the show.
Yeah, with the whole yes.
Oh man, that yes movement, that was um, it's really hard to put into words, but it's a rarity that you see a connection between a wrestler, any wrestler, and the fans like that.
Right. Well, you got a few of them now. You got Seth Rollins. You got Rhodes. You got LA Knight building up really big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's there yet, as far as everybody in the crowd getting behind him. But I can definitely see them kind of pushing him up there. I mean, as long as Roman's had the title, it's going to be coming to an end soon.
Yeah, I think WrestleMania will be that. But here's the thing, though: if if Roman drops the titles at WrestleMania, and it's being said that it would be Roman and The Rock. I don't know how that's gonna be because The Rock obviously would only be in for just one off, unless he's able to work his schedule where he could be there for a couple of months.
Now I could see him winning it WrestleMania, and then the next night losing it, and then having an injury.
Well, he did have an injury the last time when he took on John Cena. He had a tear in his stomach.
So they could possibly do that route.
And by vacating the title, that gives him the opportunity to split those titles again.
Correct. He could have an injury and have to vacate the titles, and then they would split them. That would work.
It would.
If they would do it.
Right. Well, the thing that I kind of wonder about now is because with the world heavyweight title, something is going to have to go, and I think that the Universal title will probably be the one to go because everything else seems to be leading towards world heavyweight champion.
WFD heavyweight champion.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just world heavyweight champion. He got the WWE title, which at one time used to be WWF World Heavyweight Champion.
Right.
To me, it would make more sense to do Universal Champion in WWE title. But I don't know. They're going to have to figure out some way of doing that, but they have got to keep the WWE title because of the lineage behind it. That's a lineage you do not want to stop.
Well, it's like the world heavyweight title got, basically WCW title got pretty much nixed, and now you got the world title, which to me that's the WCW title in my mind.
I'm inclined to agree with you because it actually does look like that title. They modeled it after it with little other things in there. I like the look of it, but yet somehow it just doesn't seem legitimate. It's hard to describe. It's almost like they created it as like a consolation thing
for the Universal.
But because Roman's got both titles, so they just created one as here's not one for your show. Have at it. Whereas the two main legitimate ones are still with Roman.
I would like to see them split those tag titles up again.
I am waiting on that to happen, and now that Finn and Damian have it again, this would be a good opportunity for those two to turn on each other and vacate those titles. And then I think once they do, they're going to turn one into World Tag Team titles and one into WWE Tag Team titles, just like they did with the women's titles and kind of sort of did with the heavyweight title.
If they have them two split and maybe either vacating or having each one of them take, one of the titles and they choose, who's going to be their partner now.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
That would be interesting. I don't know if we are still on. Oh, jeez, it did it again.
What?
That page on Facebook had our video blocked because of the music.
That's ridiculous.
It's a copyright free.
Chris said he's on YouTube, so yeah, Facebook's stupid.
No, it's not. It's not Facebook. It's a specific page that's doing this.
I saw NBA with really. That'll be interesting. So who's in charge of the NWA? Is that Jared and is that Jim Cornette? Are they still?
Billy Corgan's the one who's in charge of the NWA. He owns it now. Jeff Jarrett doesn't have anything. He is right now some sort of a vice president of something for AEW.
Okay, I was thinking he might still be with AEW.
Yeah, there you go. Chris has got it. Backstage content.
Okay. I was watching some WWE documentaries the other day, and they started with Undertaker and Mankind and Hell in a Cell. They were talking about the behind the scenes stuff, and had conversations with both Taker and Mick Foley on the whole deal. And then I watched one on Sting when he fought Triple H. Of course, they had that one, and then they had another one where he fought Seth Rollins. And with Sting and Rollins about the whole buildup of it, and Seth was a huge Sting fan, growing up, even dressed up like him at Halloween, and how that match happened out. And of course, they were talking, showed parts of the match and showed the injury and all that to Sting and all that, and how Seth was, communicating with him in the ring and even after it happened and all that. It was a good documentary.
Yeah.
Of course, then he went to AEW, and then I started kind of researching some stuff on Sting right after that, and he's supposed to have a retirement match coming up at AEW sometime, I guess, next year. They don't know who he's going to fight just yet, but he's basically said this was his farewell match.
All right, I just reported that page, the Al Ali SC. That's the page that's messing us up.
In AEW, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
There's the link.
okay. Oh,
They have 14 million likes, 16 million followers.
they've got to have some kind of. It's got to be some kind of paid for type nonsense.
I don't know.
So that's a lot of followers for. I don't even know what's the page about.
It's a soccer page based out of Egypt.
Yeah.
Um,
So Chris, I added you on Xbox. Um, I've been grinding over the past couple days on that. In between my trips here and there.
Thank you, Chris. I just did a report myself on my own personal profile and from the network page too. It's really aggravating.
What is this?
So, okay, let's. Okay, let's
Baby shower. Crap.
get back. So Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Um,
That's going to happen. They're
Yeah.
supposed to have a contract signing next week. Jay sought revenge on Jimmy. Of course, we saw that last week.
saw something about Jay attacking Jimmy.
Yeah. Seems to be they're building tension up with the two general managers, which I think is good. You'll get, faction against faction or show against show. That'll be interesting to see how they play all that out. Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul, that's going to wind up happening.
I'm excited about that one.
You got two high flyers there that
Yes,
there's no telling what kind of stuff is going to happen on that match.
they are going to have. They're definitely going to have some big moment like when Logan and Ricochet had that moment at the Rumble.
Off the top ropes. Yeah, that was wild.
They are going to do something, and Chris is absolutely right.
I like Logan Paul. For the amount of time he's been there and his skill set, his
Yeah,
work
when
ethic.
he first came in, um, everybody was really thinking, "Oh, he's just going to be a one-off, not going to do much." And then when he got in the ring and started wrestling with the Mysterios there at WrestleMania, it's like, holy shit!
Yeah, he's not just a celeb coming into, like the old days of Dennis Rodman and or even Snoop at what is it, WrestleMania? his big thing.
I, you know what? You got to give Snoop credit. He he really stepped up in an emergency type situation. Um, it it wasn't pretty,
No, but
but
it fixed a botch. It fixed a botch, however he had to on the fly.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it wasn't really even a botch. It was a legitimate injury.
right?
Um, now, I guess somebody could say it's a botch because that's how he injured himself. But even though it wasn't pretty, Snoop stepped up. He wasn't afraid to get physical. Um, but I really liked how he channeled his inner rock to do it. That was just funny. That was just funny.
Yeah. Um, get back to Logan Paul. Like I said, I expected him to come in just be like one of your normal celebs, come in there with no talent. You know, doing a few things and then be gone. But he's got to have a strong work ethic to come in and perform like he did.
Yeah.
Um, not wanting to be just like the regular celebrity coming in.
Yeah. There was no doubt that he put in the time for the training to do it.
Right.
It was the same way with Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny doesn't even have a wrestler's physique. He is just a normal body. But wow,
I'm gonna look up something.
he turned some heads. Um, Logan Paul turned some heads. Now, it wasn't quite on the level as Ronda Rousey when she made her debut, but they were up there. And I remember Triple H saying in one of their press conferences um, that Logan Paul has no business being as good as he is at what he does when it comes to being in the ring. He only does.
He was trained. Logan Paul was trained by Helms. No, you're not going to pick up. What am I supposed to do? You have to wait till I go.
Oh yeah, I see that now. He was trained by Shane Helms, Shawn Michaels. That's a big plus right there.
And Drew
And
Gulak.
yeah. Now Drew every now and then kind of gets his moment. Shane Helms, for the most part, he was just used as comedy fodder. Um, but Shawn Michaels, you're not going to get a much better trainer than him, especially when it comes to the high flying stuff. Because a lot of his matches are something that they would use in a classroom and say, this is your standard. This is what you wanna based off of if that's the kind of style you want to wrestle with. Yeah, Shane was tweaking. I don't know how they ever got away with doing something like that. Now I can see all three of them, but
Yes,
Shane's the only one whose name I remember. All right, Shane's the only one who I remember, and now Chris, now that you got me thinking about that, I got to go check out see who the other two were. Um,
what other two were?
Three count. Okay, Shane Helms. Oh, Shannon Moore. I forgot about him. Um, Evan Karagias. Karagias. And Tank Abbott. He was a part of three count.
Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
Really?
He was definitely not somebody who would have been in three count. Not him. But But Tank, I know that I remember back in the day there was a lot of hope for him, but he didn't last very long. Not that I can recall, anyway. Um,
Was he back around the time Steve Black and Ken Shamrock and all them were around?
yeah, he was. He was the WCW answer to those guys. Um, and I remember something about him. Uh, I want to say, I want to say he pulled a knife out for one of those skits on in WCW, and it was something that was planned, but it was very frowned upon. Um, I can't remember what the thing was about, but I remember something about him pulling out a knife, and it was on TV, and it just killed his career. So, um, yeah, Logan Paul, he has been extremely impressive, and I rarely ever use that word because I don't get impressed by much. But Logan Paul has impressed me for being able to do what he does in the very short amount of time that he's been doing it. His third ever wrestling match was wrestling Roman Reigns for the titles. How many wrestlers get to say that? Or wrestling for any title? Um, but yeah, I think Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio, that will probably, well, I don't know. We got some damn good matches on this card. I was thinking it'll probably be a show stealer, but so far, the four matches that they have announced for this thing, all of them can be show stealers.
The Mysterio and Logan Paul. I wonder if they'll wind up opening up with that, knowing that you're going to wind up getting
That'd be the smart thing to do.
big, interaction
Yeah,
from the crowd, getting excited of it.
that would be the smart thing to do.
Going
Uh,
back a couple pay-per-views, I didn't expect uh, Trish Stratus. Who did she fight that in that cage? Uh,
she fought Becky.
yeah, that was a dang. That was a good match.
It was, and considering that was Trish's first ever cage match,
Do you
which
see
I
that
found
big
surprising.
knot on her head?
I did not.
I think she wound up hitting the cage rail during one of the uh, Becky Lynch threw her into the cage and wound up hitting. From what I replayed and watched, it looked like she hit where they joined together,
Uh huh.
and it wasn't that bad right after. But after a couple minutes in there, man, you can see this huge thing knot pop up on her forehead.
Here we go. The page accepted my dispute and released their claim on the video.
Awesome.
But that was for last week's show. I
Huh.
I think the reports on them. Hey, maybe we better do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not rescinding what I did earlier. I am not going to take that off. So anybody that sees a link, report.
Who knows how much longer Mysterio's got, before he hangs it up. I mean,
I think he was planning on making it to 50, and then because he's 48 now, he'll turn. He's got a birthday in December, so I am guessing as far as full time, we will probably end up getting another year and a half out of him. And after WrestleMania 41, that's probably when he's going to start winding down.
I
All
would
right,
do. I would do something. Hey Nick, I
we
would
are,
do
we're
something
back
on
on Facebook now. Good, good.
with him. I would, of course, I'm on the outside. I mean, to retire at WrestleMania 40 would be an awesome send off.
That that would be something.
While
Um,
you're still able to, you know,
I've heard that they might end up doing that with Brock.
Brock's done about all Brock can do.
Yeah,
He's to have another storyline for Brock is doesn't make any sense.
depends on who it is.
I mean, who else you got? For him to face, have to be somebody that's not big right now. You have to excuse me. I hadn't ate today.
Actually, to be honest, um, of all the wrestlers out there right now, a good choice to be Brock's last match could be LA Knight.
I don't think he's that big just yet. You have to really hype it up. If LA Knight winds up winning the title, which it wouldn't, for him to.
Let's see who we got in the. I'm looking at the personnel right now. Um, Otis. He's a big boy. He's short, but he has a very strong wrestling background. Um, and although he struggles sometimes on certain things, he he can do some pretty good things for his size.
they'd have
Uh,
to, they'd have to push him a great deal.
they would. I don't think Chad Gable would stand a chance at all with him. Um, they really screwed up with him and Bobby Lashley. He would have been a good choice for a final match. Um, I think, well, in a way, Brock actually kind of passed the torch on to Cody at WrestleMania. And,
Yeah,
and what they did at the end of that match, that would have been something to do at WrestleMania.
that was actually unscripted.
Yes. Yeah.
So as far as everything I've read and everything I've seen, Lesnar being, this hard ass and you know jerk, on the show. He's a really nice guy from what I've heard
That's what I've heard.
from
Well,
fans and everywhere. He's very private,
yes.
but you know everything I've ever heard is always he's a really nice guy.
Um, has there ever been a Brock and Sheamus?
Brock and McIntyre would be good.
Well, they've already done that. Although when they did do that, that was when there was um, nobody in the crowd. Actually, you know what I would like to see, and this is something that Brock himself said that he would like to work with more often, and that is our truth. Because I remember something years ago on Monday Night Raw, our truth was doing. Um, it was going into the Rumble. It was the year that Brock was going in at number one. 2020. Yeah, 2020. Brock was going in at number one, and our truth was saying that he was going to enter the Rumble, and then he finds out that it's Brock who's going to be in the Rumble and not Paul Heyman, because he was thinking Paul Heyman was going to be in the Rumble. Oh man, I miss our truth. We need to get him back in there. He they need to get him back. Um, our truth, he's in his 50s, doesn't look like it. Um, in phenomenal shape. I'd like to see our truth and Brock. Now, I remember seeing something about Brock's son getting into wrestling, but I haven't really heard anything other than that.
Look it up. Consult the almighty Google.
Yeah. Um, let's see, who else do we have? I haven't seen him, but I've heard about Von Wagner. I've heard that he's a big boy, and he is Bo Beverly's son. Maybe Braun Breaker.
Lesnar has three sons:
Does he?
Luke, Luke, Turk, and Duke. Duke and Turk are Sable and Brock's kids.
One guy that would have been a good opponent. Um, I forget what his name was before he turned into Mace, but he was that guy that was with Mansoor for the Maximum Male Models. He was Mace in that Retribution group. He had those long dreadlocks, and before that, he was on color commentary for Monday Night Raw and actually stood up to Brock.
Yeah, so far it shows um, Luke has not made his debut in any wrestling promotions. But of course, you go on NXT or get in the uh, training center and all that, wouldn't take long.
Um, I don't really see anybody else here on this list that could do anything. Um, I think at one time Gable Steveson might have been a thought, but after his debut, there's no way.
Oh, what about? Hold on.
Oh, let's. let's do. That's what I said, Mace. Mace was in um, Maximum Male Models, and he was also in Retribution.
What about Lesnar and Braun Breaker?
I think that would be a good match.
They could build that something up real big.
Dio Madden. That was the name he was using. Now that Dio Madden. They really misused him. That was sad. Braun Breaker, yes, he's. I definitely think they could do something to him, and he would really be a good person for passing the torch uh,
Definitely.
with his youth. Because Cody Rhodes doesn't exactly need the torch passed to him because he's he's in his late 30s.
Right.
Braun he's 25. So if there's anybody that should be passed the torch to, it should be him. Um, and he did a great job as NXT champion. And to be honest, I'm surprised he hasn't been moved up to the main rosters permanently. Although I know he's done some things, but I think he needs to be moved up permanently. It's time for him to shine.
You got so much in the roster now with a lot of superstars. Will be room for him to come up and push him at this point in time.
I think with him, he would be able to stand out. Um, I think Braun would definitely be able to stand out. He stands out now. The matches that he had with Carmelo, they were just great. Um,
Sorry about that.
it'd be a true David and Goliath one, but what about Dragunov? Putting him against Brock.
Who?
Ilja Dragunov. He's the current NXT champion. He's just a tiny guy. He is a tiny, tiny guy.
Small Mysterio?
Yeah, he's bigger than Ray, not by much, but he has just enough crazy in him to go after Brock. Oh, Gunther.
If they
They
did Gunther and
We
Lesnar,
were
that would
talking about him and Brock for WrestleMania this year.
is what they're talking about.
They were for WrestleMania 39. Because they teased it at the Rumble. They had that little stare down. That would be a good guy to have for Brock. And there was a lot of people that really wanted to see that. But again, I just looked him up. He's 36 years old.
Yeah, that's what I was going to look up. You
Yeah.
beat me to it.
Now, if you look at some of the older pictures of him, Gunther was a big boy.
He looks old.
Well, that's because he lost a lot of weight. He lost a lot of weight.
He looks like he's in his 40s
Yeah.
already.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about losing a good amount of weight, that it causes a lot of wrinkles.
Yeah.
But Gunther, he's got the style that would match Brock. Brock would definitely be in trouble. So that would be a great match.
That would be a good match.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they're saving that for WrestleMania 40 instead of doing it at 39.
Could.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one. But first, we got to see Brock come back.
Yeah. I think he's like, pops in there every once in a while. It ain't like he needs, money or the fame, which he don't like the fame. He likes being private.
Yeah. He's got money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got more than enough. He can quit now and never lift a finger and live out the rest of his life.
If I'm not mistaken, he raises cattle.
He does. He also butchers too.
So, I mean, yeah, he's doing his own thing and happy. That's the big thing. Regardless of what you do,
he's just a farm boy.
Just be happy with what your passion is.
Not quite Mania season yet. Nope, not quite.
No,
so we're getting there. We're 3 months away from the Rumble, and once the Rumble hits, it's Mania season.
Yep.
No, we're getting there.
I'm wanting to say there's a live show somewhere close sometime soon.
Yeah, we had ours in the last couple of weeks.
Airlines.
I had to miss Fastlane because I couldn't afford the ticket down there, the parking fees, and the hotel to be able to do it. And that was, oh man. And then if I had gone to that show, I would have missed out on part of that press conference and the whole Jay and Cody fiasco.
Saturday night's main event, November 18th in Tupelo.
And how far is that from you?
2 hours.
Okay.
Let me see what tickets are.
Can't imagine them being very much if they're just a house show.
You get nosebleed seats for $20.
What are the front row seats for? Or the closest?
Let me see. Two tickets, VIP, $85 a piece.
That's not bad at all.
That's up. Let's see what the ring is. I'm guessing that middle section is the ring. Yeah, there's the ring. So that would be the VIP spot would be where they come in and out.
Okay, at the aisle.
Yeah. So you have section E, row 8. Woo! And then we go way up. What are you doing?
And then the plot change.
One of my kids left a chip bag over here on the chair, and my dog was over there digging in it. But it's empty.
That just came out of nowhere. What are you doing?
Yeah. Section
That's
E,
funny.
row 3 is 250.
Ah, there we go.
That's official platinum. You got, a standard ticket, $100. Row 7, 8, 10. It's 200 and goes up from there. Gosh, that got to be expensive. 85. You're in that area, but you're in the middle section of the, of the row, so you're not right by the rail. Now you could be right at the edge for $225.
For a house show, would that really be worth it? But then again, it would be the house show equivalent to the big show. So
So if we got in section A, where's A? How much is A? Oh, $525. That's for row 2. You're like right there and in the camera. Well, it would be camera shot if it was a live event.
sometimes they do film live events. Not necessarily a hard camera, but sometimes they do have um, guys out there with cameras.
Now, if you get in, what's that? Take that off. There we go. $180 for that one. Goodness. Good God. Anything close to the ring is going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's how it generally is. I remember when Monday Night Raw came to Fort Wayne back in 08, 09, and it was $110 total. That was with tax and everything, $110 a ticket. And that was for a Monday Night Raw. And I got it. And a buddy of mine and I went, we were 5 rows from the ring.
Now I could get row 8, row 9, or row 10. You could be, it's 85. I could see. And of course, I'd have to take somebody. I'd want to take somebody with me.
No, is the wife a wrestling fan?
Walk the aisle experience. I don't know what that is.
Is your wife a wrestling fan?
Yeah.
Oh.
My uncle is. He would love that.
And what about your kids?
One. I got one kid that's really interested in it. My oldest son.
There you go. Now you got 2 people that probably go with you.
Shit, I can afford that.
Yeah. So since that Roman in LA is unquestionably going to be the main event, anything with Roman is going to be the main event. Let's talk about the other match for the World Heavyweight title. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. What a match that's going to be.
That's going to be. But now I can't see. I don't know who could come out on top on that. They're going to push Drew another time, or keep it with Seth. What's in the books for Seth down the road. Because Seth he's popular. He's popular with or without the title.
Yes, he is. But the question is, because I really thought that he was going to drop the belt to Shinsuke, um, because there's no way they'd be running this whole thing with his back, and then all of a sudden just do away with that, and he continues wrestling. Nobody mentions that at all. Something like that sticks with the fans. We are always going to know. Thank you, Kaza. We are always going to know, um, or think about the issue that he has with his back, and I don't see how I don't see them doing a storyline like that without there being some kind of issue with his back. And let's face it, he doesn't exactly have the safest um, wrestling style there is. You don't get away with what he does without hurting yourself in some way.
What I see here says his injury is semi-real. His bang is backed up, however, it's not as bad as being portrayed on TV.
So maybe they're doing this so that when he does end up dropping the belt, he'll take some time off, have back surgery, and then come back.
Yeah. Said his back's not 100%. It's got a limited clock attached to it. That's from Rollins. So
Yeah.
uh,
And also, they are very two different distinctive styles, um, which, if they ever team together, they would be a great tag team together. Um, but they're going to have a great match. Drew with the power, and Seth with the high flying and speed. Well, Drew's got a lot of speed too. Uh, Seth's song is popular. That it is. That it is. Um, and the fact that he's able to get the fans to do that whole thing and just stand there and
and
do
keep
like
going. And just
minutes
keep
at a time.
going.
Huh?
And just keep going.
Yeah. It seemed like he stood there for 5 minutes just like that, and the fans just went.
Now you're getting to the point where your fans are, singing lyrics along with the song. So it's not just, music generated. Now you got a lot of songs got lyrics in them.
Yeah, they've been doing that for the past 20 years or so. Um, what I'm not really a big fan of is that they're licensing music from other bands. For the, I like music that is made specifically for the wrestler. Now, that being said, Hulk Hogan, there was no other song that could fit him than Real American.
Well, see, that wasn't originally his,
I know.
which is crazy.
I
If you
know.
think about it, Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham was that was their song,
Yeah.
and he just kind of took it over.
And if you listen to WrestleMania 1, you can hear it on their end. And Hulk Hogan came out to a different song at WrestleMania 1. Um, but I've got the collection where they released the first.
Wrestling album number 1.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
released the first 15 in a package, and they overdubbed Hogan's original music with Real American on WrestleMania 1.
I've I've got the original Wrestling album 1 and 2. Wrestling album 1 is on cassette somewhere in my collection.
I do
And
too. And I need to check that out to see if it's like that. I can't remember if they'd overdubbed it then or not.
no, because Hulk Hogan had his own theme on it, and then I remember Jesse the Body and McMahon talking about Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham, Real American, because they did a commentary thing on that first album where they're talking, and then they basically launched the song.
Right, I forgot about that.
I used to listen to that tape all the time.
Yeah,
They
I
had
had that
Lou
album on cassette.
Lou Albano, Junkyard Dog. Uh,
Grab them cakes.
yes, that was freaking horrible. That's a horrible theme song. God,
But people loved it.
I hated it. I hated that song. You know, I hated it for Junkyard Dog because I was a big, JYD fan back at Mid South,
The
and I
the
understand the copyright thing with Another One Bites the Dust. But to me,
Yeah.
when that song would come on and those bass lyrics would hit, those bass licks, man, it was like everybody just got nuts.
the weird one was Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo.
Jimmy Hart did one also on there. Jesse's Girl, maybe.
No, he wouldn't have done that one.
It was something to the same line, same kind of type song.
Well, there was a song called "Girls in Cars" where Robbie Dupree did, and they used the instrumental to that for Strike Force for Tito and Rick Martel. Here we go, discography.
That's number 2 was called Pile Driver.
Yeah, and that remains the only one to never be released on CD.
That's
And
number 1 on LP is like $100.
let's see. Oh, Mean Gene did Tutti Frutti. Can you
Yeah.
imagine him doing Tutti Frutti?
Let me see what that is.
Oh, Eat Your Heart Out, Rick Springfield is what Jimmy Hart
That's
did.
it. That's it.
Yeah. And it's common knowledge now, but back in the day, yeah,
That's
back
it.
in the day, Jimmy Hart was a very accomplished musician and was even a part of a band called the Gentrys before he made the transition to wrestling. And there were several wrestling themes that were written by him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let's see.
Cindy Lauper participated on the album as a backing vocalist on Real American. That's pretty cool.
Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
I wouldn't have either. Of course, album tracks are bridged with commentary from Vince McMahon, Gene Okerlund, and Jesse the Body.
Oh, I see that now.
Thousand Dances in a shortened version with overdubbed saxophones, Grab Them Cakes, and Don't Go Messing with a Country Boy. Oh, I remember that one.
That was a fun song. And then they finished the album.
Land of a Thousand Dances was Hogan's first theme.
It was
Yeah.
because they have a Hulk Hogan. Oh wait, oh no, never mind.
If I'm reading right. Hold on. Hogan's. Steinman composed and produced Hulk Hogan's theme, which used on Hulk Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling cartoon. Maybe it's not Land of a Thousand Dances. Yeah, it's got to be because that's. Oh, I completely forgot about this. Nikolai Volkov, Karamia. He actually had. He had a good singing voice.
Song.
At least some of it, not all of it.
Yeah, but I cannot believe they ended the album with that song.
Yeah.
Um, oh, wait a minute. That's not the one I was thinking.
We'll pull up 2 lists. Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo was on 2.
I was thinking Kiramia was the Russian national anthem. I guess not. But Pile Driver was the one that really got the attention. And that remains to this day the only one that was never put out on CD.
You had Demolition's theme on there. Always liked that one.
Demolition, Honky Tonk Man's, Jive Soul Bro by Slick. Stand Back won that. Yep. Chris just mentioned it again. Stand Back is on there.
Of course.
The one I really liked on that album is Waking Up Alone by Hillbilly Jim and Gertrude.
Then years later, you got WWF The Music Volume 3, which had Undertaker, Edge, X-Pac, Dude Love, Kane, The Rock, Gangrel, Ken Shamrock. I remember having that on CD.
I still have it. Actually, hold on a second.
And of course, that number 3, about every year they started putting a new album out. I don't even know what it's up to now. I want to getting a few of them. I need to find that cassette though.
Okay. So now here's one that I have. I think this might have been the only music album that WCW put out. But the problem is a lot of the entrances, theme songs on here are from the actual broadcast. So you got crowd noise and a commentary on there, which is really annoying.
I know Road Dogg, the New Age Outlaws, but theirs that's on one of the CDs, it's crowd noise in it. It annoys me because you can hear him talking, "Oh, you didn't know," and it goes kind of in and out away from the microphone. You can hear it. It's annoying as hell.
Now, this one here gets a bad rep. Ouch! Now, this one here gets a really, really bad rep. But I absolutely love this album. This one right here. This gets a really bad rep. But this remains one of my favorite albums. And let's see. then this, I think this one here is where they started doing just the entrance themes for all the wrestlers, Volume 2. And this one here is the one that Donald was talking about, Volume 3. And this is where they started this is where they started moving on to artists doing the themes with WWF Aggression, and continue that on with Forced Entry. But here is where they came out and did all the old, newer, and then new for the time with Anthology. So this is a very well put together, but it's still missing a lot of themes. There are, let's see, in the Federation years they got 33 tracks. In the Attitude area they have 35 tracks, and then in the Now, which was the few years after the Attitude area, they only have 18. So imagine how many wrestlers they left off of this one here. And then, believe it or not, they actually came to a greatest hits album. Did we ever see WrestleMania 10? Yes, Adam. I know I did. So, hi, Disco Inferno. Thank you so much. I actually watched WrestleMania 10 on pay-per-view back in the day. And looking at it now, it would be piss poor compared to what they do today. But for the time, everything was groundbreaking because they never thought that WrestleMania would ever get to 10 years. Yes, they weren't even sure they was going to be able to do a second show, let alone 10. And they pulled out all the stops on that one. Brother versus brother, opening it up. The really weird mixed tag match with man and woman versus man and midget. That was a unique one. But I really enjoyed those shows. In fact, just a few months ago, I went through a whole thing of watching every WrestleMania for the first 15 years. It was completely nostalgic watching all of that, and then not only watching the evolution of the show and the wrestlers, but also listening to the changes year by year of how they did the commentary at WrestleMania 1 compared to commentary that they did at 10 and even on 15. It's not just the wrestling that evolved. It's not just the pyros and all of that evolved. It was the commentary with the storytelling. That was awesome. Here's the one that you were talking about with the Music Volume 3.
Yeah, I remember getting that one.
Mm-hmm. But this is the one that I enjoy every time I listen to it. It gets a bad rep.
What is that?
This is where the wrestlers came in and sang songs. Simon Cowell actually produced this album.
Really?
Yeah. This is where Bret Hart sang a song. There was a different version of Hard Times for the Big Boss Man, a really good one. Macho Man Randy Savage, Tatanka, Nasty Boys, Mr. Perfect. This is where the WrestleMania rap came from, and also SummerSlam Jam. So
I couldn't tell you where my CDs are now. Probably in storage somewhere. At least
lis-
those.
listening to some of these things, it was just really takes me back in the day. But let's get on with the crown jewel here. The five-way the fatal five-way match for the women's world heavyweight title. And they have got some big names in this one. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, and then Zoe Stark. I kind of feel bad for Zoe here because she's not like
Nia Jax is dangerous.
oh
In the
yeah.
ring, she's dangerous in the ring. Far as opponents, I've seen too many here lately. Too many little mishaps.
Yeah, the one that I
She's
remember
not.
specifically is the one with Becky Lynch.
Yeah, she's legit dangerous. Yeah, I hope that they don't have her. They don't put the title on her. I really can't see who they're going to wind up doing it with, but I'd hate to see it go back to her because that just means you're going to be putting more wrestlers in there with her.
I don't think they will. Has she had a singles title? I'm gonna
I'm
look it up here.
sure
I know she was tag title.
Raquel would be a good one to win. I think.
Oh, Nia did have the Raw Women's Championship once. I would like to see Raquel get a title. Um, she's got a lot of promise. Rhea, I still go back to that match that she had with Charlotte. That was probably the best females match I have ever seen. That match could have easily had been a WrestleMania main event. Um,
You need to go back and watch it, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus match.
I did see it. Then I had to step away for something. I forget why. So I ended up missing about 5 minutes of that match. But I remember what I had seen of it. It was a damn good match. Um, yeah, Raquel would be a good favorite. Shayna, I don't know. She three-time women's tag champion and two-time NXT women's champion. The problem is that they don't seem to be using her.
They should put her in with the Judgment Day and have
Shayna.
her, yeah, and have her and Ripley go after the tag titles.
Oh, wow, that'd be a dangerous team right there. Most men wouldn't want to go
That
against.
would be that to me would be the not quite as there, but that'd be like Brothers of Destruction type stuff. I mean,
That'd be their female equivalent of the Destruction Crew. um, but if they're going to do that, Rhea should drop the title. But I don't think it's time for her just yet.
now they're pushing too much with that with crap. I hate when I do that. Start talking and lose my train of thought on the name.
Talking about Finn.
Judgment Day. They're pushing Judgment Day a lot, and it reminds me basically of the Bloodline.
That's actually what they were shooting for.
You
I
know,
remember.
they got everything.
Yeah, that's actually what they were shooting for. Um, and I think they're doing a good job at that too, because the whole thing with Finn and Damien, they were working real well together, and now all of a sudden they're starting to argue, and then they're starting to work well together, which is exactly what the Bloodline had done.
Right.
But they're doing it in a different way. What I'm liking about this match is the fact that Zoe Stark is in there. She caught my attention at the Rumble when she came in and lasted almost 30 minutes. And she was NXT. So she had herself a hell of a showing at the Rumble. And ever since I kept my eye on her, I'm liking her. And the fact that she is in this match with four very physical, very legitimately dangerous women, and she sticks out from them. I don't like her chances as far as how the other four are, because she's not quite like that. But because she's not quite like that, she's going to be delivering something different that the other four wouldn't.
I'm gonna have to go here in just a minute. I got to start cooking dinner.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, let's finish up on that match, and then who we think is going to win out of the four matches that are announced.
Of course, Reigns. He's gonna wind up keeping the title.
I think so too.
I would say on the Mysterio and Logan Paul's gonna win.
I'm not deciding on that one. I'm glad that Ray's got another title run, but Logan Paul, because so far the only matches he's ever done has all been on pay-per-view and not even consecutive ones. So I'm not really sure that putting a title on him would be the best thing, because with the United States Championship, you kind of want that in the eye as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, he'd have to step up and wind up being a regular show guy. Coming in for pay-per-views. And is that in his cards? Is that in his, I guess, like, is he able to put everything else on hold to pursue more of his wrestling career than just being there?
Right. And having him come out every week in wrestling would really only make things better for him as a wrestler.
Right.
So, who knows? Maybe he said, "Hey, I can start doing this a little more frequently. All right, let's give you a title run."
Yeah, I'm gonna start in just a minute.
Well, Austin's out there starting for you.
Oh.
So where's the letter for you?
Should be out there, or it's on the front porch. No, I think it's in the back.
It's dinner time, folks.
Yeah, it's cooking time. As far as the women's title, I see Ripley keeping it, even though I'd rather have Raquel win it.
Yeah, I see Ripley holding on. I don't think she's going to lose it until the other three all lose theirs, and she'll be the last one. Because she was the first one to win the title before the other three did, and I think she'll end up being the last one to lose it. If anything, I see her losing it at the Rumble, whoever she faces there.
I'm gonna say that whoever has it at the Rumble, is gonna keep it through WrestleMania.
You think so?
Yeah, if you have it going into the Rumble, I think you're gonna wind up keeping it uh, through WrestleMania. Whoever's got it at that point in time. Now, the other thing you got Judgment Day has the, is it Damien's got the. Is it Damian Priest that has the Money in the Bank? He still got that Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So that's something to, and I wish they would have done it that way. I wish he would have turned it in for the tag titles instead of just having, the tag titles opportunity given to him.
But it does add to the mystique. Okay, when's he going to cash, or when's he going to cash it? And Rhea kept saying, "Now it's not the time." And I think that when he does cash it in, when he cash it in on Dominic,
It's out of food. They don't like enough to do the grill.
yeah, it's getting to be about that time. So,
Yeah.
what I was asking before, wouldn't it be something if Damien cashes the briefcase on Dominic for the North American title?
I would say if they're going to do that split with them two, then I see him possibly throwing it in somehow or another. He'd have to go babyface.
Yeah, Damien's definitely going to go babyface.
If he goes babyface, then I could see him cashing in on one of his Judgment Day counterparts. That's what I would do, writing wise.
And the only one to do it would be Dominic.
I can see that happening.
But yeah, I agree with you on Ripley keeping the title in a fatal 5-way. But I think in this match, Zoe is really we're gonna see her star shine in that match above all the other 5. Even though Rhea will win the match, I think Zoe will be the one to come out as the star of the match.
As far as the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, I think Seth is going to keep it. I think they're going to want to having Seth keep it. It'll probably be a really good match, which I'd be happy with either one of them winning.
Yeah, I could go either way with those two.
But I see story-wise, they're going to keep, excuse me, Seth Rollins, but who knows?
What they may end up doing with Seth is hold the belt until WrestleMania. Lose at WrestleMania, and then take his time off. Have his back surgery, and depending on how extensive the surgery is and his recovery, come back at the Rumble.
That would be big if he took a hiatus between say this pay-per-view, he loses it, he goes off, with his back, and they really play up the back injury.
Yeah.
On here, and then he steps out, has his back surgery, comes back at the Rumble, and him being like, number 30 at the Rumble, and just like the pop he's going to get is going to be huge.
Oh, it's not going to matter what number he gets. It would be a huge pop. Yeah, I think that's what may end up happening. That he'll hold on to it until WrestleMania because he has earned that spotlight. But the thing is, as long as Roman Reigns has those two titles, nobody will, even the World Heavyweight title, that will never main event the show if Roman is on the show. When
Right.
Roman is not on the show, then Seth will have the main event just like he did the last couple.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think Seth will ultimately win, but I could really go either way with him. If we're going to have one title change hand, the one that would make the most sense, is as long as everything stays as they are, the title would have to change for the women's, because we know Roman's not going to lose it. Uh, Logan Paul is not going to get it unless he's able to do more appearances.
Out of all of those, I see the Drew being possible. Like you brought up, I would love to see Logan Paul get it, but you did bring up a good point. If unless he's ready to step up and be there all the time, they're not going to give it to him.
And it's also going to depend on how bad Seth's back really is.
Right.
Um, and and I think you're right. The show will open up with Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul. That'd be a great opening match. And then, of course, Roman Reigns and LA Knight closing the show, which that match is going to be real good too.
Who was that?
Roman in LA.
That'll be a good match.
Yeah. Um, if they do this right, based on personalities and lineage, Roman Reigns and LA Knight could be this generation's Rock and Steve Austin.
They could be that big.
Well, LA's definitely got the attitude part.
Do you remember when Hogan and The Rock fought?
That was during the time I wasn't watching, but I've
God,
seen
that was huge because you got Hogan, which is hated so
Yeah.
much, and Rock is like way up there. And when that match was going on, I mean, the crowd changed. The crowd changed to Hogan, and against The Rock. I was like, oh my God, this is huge.
Yeah, and nobody saw that coming.
No.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
That was really good match.
Hogan Rock is right up there, just a step below Hogan Andre as far as marquee matches. But because they weren't advertised or placed main event, Hogan Andre is still number one main event of all time as far as WrestleMania main events go.
When you have what was that show? It came on Sunday nights. It was a show after the news here. It was somebody. It was a name. Somebody's Sports Center. And I remember it coming on there, and they were talking about on the Sports Center because they cover football and baseball and actual sports, and they actually announced on there that Hogan had defeated Andre. I was like, wow, that's big news.
It was, yeah, it really was. And
That was the pinnacle
of 93
wrestling at the time. WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, they were there, but 3 was like way higher than the other two.
I think that was the one where they saw everything changing for wrestling, and they knew that this was going to be it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to say WrestleMania 2 is the worst of all.
Yeah, somebody's sports machine. I can't remember the name of the guy that hosted it.
So. All right, so next weekend,
the George Michael Sports Machine. That's what it was. George Michael Sports Machine.
and Chris was saying sports machine right here, so he knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I wasn't watching wrestling at that time, so I
Not George Michael the singer. Different George Michael.
yeah. Okay. Now next weekend you are not going to be able to do.
No, I won't be around next weekend. Starting tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be going and blowing all week. I'm looking at late nights. I'm sure. I know Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for sure because that's when we actually run the haunted house. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and part of Thursday is our setup. So we got certain goals that's got to be met every single day to make sure that we're opened up for Thursday. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna try my best to get goals that are usually for Tuesday done on Monday, so we get ahead of the game.
Okay. So 2 weeks from today, you would be able to do a show, right?
Yes.
November 5th,
Look at my calendar.
which is the day after Crown Jewel.
Well, that would work out good.
Yeah.
We'll
So
do it the 5th.
we can do a review on Crown Jewel the day after.
That sounds like a winner.
Okay. And also, a week from today is the Things Network 2-year anniversary.
Yes, and I've got to get that video thing done for you also.
Yeah, I just got I just had another host give me a video this morning. So we're looking pretty good. Of course, I got to do my own as well. I haven't done that.
Yeah, I'll try to get that one done sometime this week and get it sent over to you.
Okay. Well,
Just shoot me a text and remind me.
probably do one last reminder for everybody. Once I did the last one, I started getting some videos coming in. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's 2 years. 2 years now that this network has been in operation, and it's just been astounding. Beyond pleased with it. So, okay, so we're gonna take off here. Good show with a couple of little plot twists that we had there in the middle.
Yeah.
Paraunity.
No, it's paranudity.
Yeah. Joke from what we were talking about on Thursday night.
Okay.
Paraunity went off quite well yesterday. Very pleased. We even did an investigators panel at the end of the event, and actually streamed it on the network. Just about 45 minutes. That's some good questions though. And we're pretty excited about Paraunity next year, our 6-1. So we'll see how that turns out.
Hit me up, Chris, and maybe we can play some wrestling together. Team up, or beat each other up in Hell in a Cell.
Get on WWE 2K23.
Yeah, I just got 23 a few days ago.
Okay.
So
All right. So in 2 weeks, we will do a Crown Jewel review. And since we'll only be a couple weeks away from Survivor Series, we might even talk about what we think is going to happen at the Survivor Series.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for playing along with us, putting up with us for almost 2 hours. And
Good show.
yep, it was. And got to do a little show and tell tonight, too. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
See you in a couple weeks. See y'all.